Hello and welcome back to Downtime Activities, and welcome back to the Force and Destiny campaign with the Gotchchucks, with Matt and Jocelyn. I am your DM, also Matt, and today we're going to continue the story where we left last time. Our two young Force sensitives are hiding away on some unknown, strange, frozen world with a Master Dagunji, a large, whipped Jedi Master who is, or whiffed, depending on how you pronounce it.
Whip it real good.
Probably copyrighted. Don't sue us, Salt and Pepper. Anyway, the first couple lessons are under your belt. Some of you taking to this a little more naturally than others, and both expressing your use of the Force in different ways. After last time, you guys kind of gained the Force power of move, though you're still not fully consistent using it yet, but you have the access to try and use that Force power on your own. And let's go ahead and each roll a Force die to get our Destiny pool.
Alright. So I'll roll mine.
One dark side, as is tradition.
Two dark side.
Good.
If you'd like to roll.
Nice.
Anyone's going to end up a
Two
Sith.
light side.
Clearly, Maddie G, future Sith of the campaign, and Jocelyn, future Jedi of the campaign.
It's how it
Yay. I'm going
It's how
to
it
kick
goes.
your butt
Awesome.
with the power of good.
Mm-hmm.
I have the power of anime and God and anime on my side. So, after the last couple lessons, the beginning couple of things, the rest of your day is kind of, you're left to your own devices. Master Dagunji says that'll be enough for now. You can practice on your own time if you'd like to. He is going to spend some time in meditation and says to just go about whatever you'd like to do for the rest of your day. And he walks over to that kind of strange room that you had stumbled into last time. And similarly, he uses the Force to open it, and it closes back up behind him.
You're being a bad boy.
No, I was just
Just going a
exploring.
little snooperoosk.
No one told me I couldn't go in there until after I was already in there.
You didn't know. And he didn't exactly say you couldn't. He just said to be careful in there. Right? You were careful, mostly.
Mostly. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what I was doing.
So it's probably like in the afternoon at this point, but you're going to have a little bit of free time to do with as you wish.
Hooray, free time in the cave.
In this great urban sprawl of adventure you can go to. There's that frozen lake that's outside. There's the cave you're in. There's snow and mountains.
Man, they didn't even give me a parka. So I'm not going out in the cold if
I'm
I can
gonna
help
go
it.
fishing.
You're going to go fishing? Okay.
Yeah.
You want to go ice fishing?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Cool.
You can head up there. Easy enough to go back up the stairs back to the frozen lake you came from. While she goes and ice fishes, what do you do?
I'll probably try and use my move power and like practice with it
Okay.
as much as I can.
All right.
And then sleep.
Get a little rest. Go ahead and you give me a Force check. Roll
Okay.
Force die. Let's see how
One
your testing
Force
goes.
die.
A number Force die equal to your Force power rating.
One. Ha. One dark side.
One dark side. Once again, like you feel like you're starting to get the hang of this.
Hooray.
Like you kind of you focus on it and you like okay, do it just like the Gunji said. Like you're focused on moving and it doesn't work. And you get angry and you're like fucking move, and then it raises up and you have control again. And you're like, okay, I'm starting to get the hang of this. I just have to get mad and let my emotions get involved.
Right.
And once those get involved, I'm able to do this thing.
Perfect.
Seems to be working pretty well for you.
Awesome.
You go up to go ice fishing. The lake is mostly frozen over. Are you wanting to like? How do you go about getting access to fish in it? The top layer. I mean, there's definitely deeper layers to this lake up here. You just like punching a hole through the ice.
No, I'm gonna grab a rock.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab a rock and I'm gonna like smash it.
All right. Go ahead and give me athletics.
Yeah.
Athletics is a brawn.
It's a bronze, so you should be good at it, I assume.
Yeah.
Yep. So remind me, it's just the number of ranks you have in it, right? Or is
So
it ranks are upgrading?
ranks upgrade the dice. So it'll be a number of green dice equal to your brawn, and then you upgrade one of those green to a yellow since she has one rank in it.
Gotcha.
Well, there's difficulty to it. So
of course.
you don't just roll. And then this will be, we'll just call it an average difficulty, so it'll be 2 purple.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, I rolled it for you. But
Whatever. 3 successes.
You find a pretty big rock and you make it look like child's play to pick this thing up and lob it, and it just it kind of lands with a big crash and then a splash of some water coming out the sides, and there's a good sized hole in the ice over there.
Nice. Cool. Awesome. Now, do I see any fishies?
Go ahead and roll me a hard perception.
all right. So then perception.
Perception,
Cunning.
notice.
So your
Running into
cunning
lots of systems right now.
is
3?
3. Choose 3. And then hard is 3 purples.
Yep.
It's even odds. 2 success, 1 threat.
Looking down into there, you can see what looks like a similar fish to what was getting cooked previously on the fire by Master Dagunji, but it seems very deep down into the lake. It seems like these kind of the fish of this lake seem to kind of settle very low into the water.
Okay. Can I try to use the forest to grab the fish?
You know what? Roll me a force die.
There you go. All right, so then, and then.
One dark side.
Would you like to grab the fish or not? Would you like to get? You kind of feel like it's you're not able to move this, and you feel kind of a tug to get angry to try and move this. Are you giving in to the dark side here to get this fish?
No, I'm not.
Okay. So you kind of focus and try and get this fish to move underneath there, and you're like, it looks like it's a pretty big fish, definitely a good bit bigger than the rock you were moving before, and you think you just don't have enough power behind the force to move it.
Okay. I'm gonna give up on the fish. Is there any, like, rabbits or anything around?
There's not a whole lot of life around here. You could certainly try and, like, track and look around for something. It's not the kind... It's a, like, frozen, desolate wasteland. So the kind of life that lives out here is going to be hardy and probably have, like, white fur and be hard to spot and stuff. But you could definitely try and track something down if you want.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to track.
Go ahead and give me a... Is tracking its own skill or is it survival? I know there's survival, and I think that's what you use to track in this.
Yeah, probably survival.
I don't think there's a special tracking.
Okay, so you'll go up, and then hard, easy.
It'll be hard.
Up.
Roll. 2 successes.
2 successes. Looking over this area, you are pretty naturally taking to this. It's almost like it's in your DNA to be good at hunting in the snow. And looking around, you do end up, like, it takes you a little while looking around this lake, but you can find there's some parts near the edge that are, like, a little more broken up, and it seems like an animal could get water from it. And you do find 2 different kinds of sets of tracks. Mm-hmm. One of them appears to be big and canine, and the other appears to be smaller and almost bird-like. Although it doesn't seem like it looks like it moves a ways. Like, it's not a bird landing and drinking, like it's something with bird-like feet walking up to this and then walking away from it.
Should definitely go mess with that, for sure. 100%. Birds, always totally fine and never dangerous at all.
I'm gonna do the canine. I think that'll be bigger, so
Okay.
we could feed everybody.
You can go ahead and definitely try and start tracking it. You can move along following its tracks. I'll let you use that previous roll for the start. And you can see that it kind of starts to move and wind up further up into kind of the mountainous hill area. And it gets to a point where you can see, it looks like this thing has kind of come up to a kind of different layerings of cliff edge. And it has, like, leaped and pressed off. Like, it like hardcore parkoured its way up something kind of precarious. You can try and follow it if you'd like. You just have to be a tricky climbing. So I believe that'll be athletics as well. Try and pull yourself up and climb this.
So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Hard, right?
Yes, this will be hard.
1 success, 2 threat.
1 success, 2 threat. You're able to kind of... It is tricky, and there's parts where, like, you kind of start to slip and lose your grip, but you're able to get yourself just over and onto the edge. And you can see that kind of beyond here, it looks like there's another smaller frozen-over lake here that's completely frozen over in this spot. It probably, if it was a, like, high tide season or whatever, like, it might flow down this, and this might be more of like a waterfall, when it's like a higher water level sort of deal. And you can see beyond it what looks like a cave. And looking in, you can't tell if there's anything in the cave right now, but that seems to be where the footprints head towards.
Okay, I'm gonna make some noise to see if I can get it to come out so I don't have to go looking through the dark.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna start throwing stuff and making noises.
Are you throwing it at the cave, at the lake? Are you just making noise, like shouting? What are you doing to make noise, specifically?
I'm gonna be shouting.
Okay.
So I'll just start shouting.
A couple shouts out.
Yeah.
There's going to be kind of a moment where you kind of shout out and it echoes around in the canyon a little bit. And there's kind of like a long pause. Long pause, like, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 40 seconds. You're kind of into there, like... And you can kind of see a shadow start to slowly emerge from the darker recess of the cave. And you can see kind of a set of what looks like almost translucent, like kind of like reflective yellow eyes that are fairly large. And then kind of stepping into just out of the shadows enough for the face to peer through. You can see it looks like a wolf as far as like its build. Like it looks like a wolf roughly the size of like a horse, and instead of, and its fur, it doesn't have like ears, like pointed ears that you can see. They might be recessed to further back, and it's almost like furry mane like with like this kind of these like rings of fur going down its back, and its face is longer, and its kind of ends of its snout seem like they're bone instead of like there's no fur on the end of it. It's almost beak like on the very front. You can see sharp tangle of teeth coming out the front, and it kind of just slowly rears its head out into that and kind of locks eyes with you for a second.
I think I bit off more than I could chew a little bit.
You can make a... this will be
a
right up your
tactics,
alley. No, you can make a knowledge... probably xenology.
Yeah, xenology would make sense.
I think it's for species and stuff like that. So go ahead and make a xenology, an intellect check for me.
Oh, I'm so dumb.
Right.
We'll call it a moderate one because this is a hard one. This is not a well-known animal.
3 fails, 1 threat.
You have no idea what this is, but like a primal instinct in you is saying like it's predator and I'm prey. Like this thing seems to be you don't know much about anything book smarts wise, but you have a lot of like kind of natural survival instinct and stuff like that just by the species you are. And this thing definitely like triggers your predator prey response, and it's like this thing is probably like kind of the alpha predator of its locale here.
I'm gonna go skedaddle.
Okay, so you're kind of going back down the other way.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me that same athletics check, the hard athletics check to go back down, and give yourself a setback die because you were doing it under the duress of this thing possibly moving in behind you.
It's black as a setback, right? Or
Yep.
the square. Okay.
1 success.
You scamper down this. You kind of scamper down this hill pretty quickly, and you were moved like you were barely past this kind of cliff edge, and you quickly scamper down this you did not want to see. And you kind of get to the bottom, and you look back up, and you can see this thing at the top of the cliff above, staring down at you. It seems like it just kind of dashed across that lake pretty quickly, and it kind of pauses and looks at you from the top as you get to the bottom, and then it just slowly turns and starts walking back towards its cave.
I'm gonna skedaddle my happy butt back to camp.
Okay, you head on back to camp.
Cool.
Almost
Awesome.
got eaten.
I know. Aww. I was just trying to find food and be helpful. I'm gonna go grab my rocks and tell them what happened.
Okay, you go back to your pile of hay, your little bed pile, and go to your rocks and
Explain the situation and tell them not to go near that.
That's a dangerous, scary cave.
And are you napping next to me?
Yeah, I'm just like taking naps and chilling out,
I'm gonna
trying
be,
that meditating
I'm
thing.
still super duper scared, so I'm gonna be like cuddling next to you. And I'm gonna be so sad. I'm gonna be like thinking about
Trying to concentrate, guys.
Don't
Okay.
go near the cave.
Okay. I don't think I'm going to leave this cave.
Unless required.
There's something that is the size of a horse.
What's a horse?
Something that is big.
It's like two wampas side in front of the back.
I don't know what a horse is. I've never seen a horse in my life.
Two wampas taped together. It's horrifying.
I saw two wampas taped together one time, but then my mom made me turn my eyes.
Two wampas taped together one time.
Mom, what are those two
Then our
wampas?
tour guide says, cover your kids' eyes.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh.
Well, see, you could have bad stuff could have happened. Erickson could have like flipped over one of these things and really gotten you.
I could have been got.
You could have been absolutely had.
That was spooky. I'm never going back up there ever again. And if anyone tries to go up there, I'm not going to explain myself. I'm just going to throw you off and try to get everyone not
Run
to.
away from there.
No.
Like, no.
No one go up there. Don't mess with the giant, deadly horse up there.
Ugh, horse with teeth is definitely
Bone teeth.
Ugh.
Bone beak teeth.
Yeah, basically,
Yeah.
giant
It's
wolf
with
a mane
and
and bone beak for a front jaw.
nice.
It's pretty scary.
That is pretty spooky.
Now, so it's gonna get after you've kind of gone on your little soiree. You've done some meditation. You've done some spend some time. Go ahead and roll me one more force die from your time in meditation.
One dark side.
Okay.
No!
This shit up.
I meant to hit clear and I hit roll instead. And of
Two
course
more
I
dark
missed.
Which I'm keep. That's a sign from the universe. You find it nearly impossible to stay focused in meditation. You feel drawn to that room you were in before. You feel like you've been, like you feel like you were on the edge of something when you were meditating in there, and like meditating out here, you're like, I can't focus. Like the meditation is not working here for me at all. It's very frustrating. You know what I'm saying? Like you feel like you can only move the rocks when you get angry at the rocks, and you feel like when you're meditating you cannot focus, and you keep just getting more and more frustrated.
Can I try to mimic him to see what he's doing? Just
Like you're gonna like just sit next to him and kind of
Yeah.
focus and try and meditate. Go ahead and roll
Yeah.
me a force die. 12 light side.
one dark side.
You
I'm a bad influence.
next to him, what you feel is you sit there and you feel his frustration. Like you can tell that he's kind of got his mind's a little foggy right now, and you can tell that he's frustrated with something that his mind's
I'm
preoccupied.
gonna give him a big hug.
I don't think you can stop her from
That's
hugging you
true.
if she really
It's just
wants
like-
to.
it's just like
it's like
that.
the feeble, because you're like 7 years old, right? But
Yeah.
you're 6'4", 6'5", and you're
Yeah.
16, but human sized as a 16-year-old.
I have 2 brawn and she has 4 brawn.
She's double you in strength.
Yeah.
And I assume Braun's somewhat exponential in growth
Right,
as well.
exactly.
I'm gonna tousle your hair, and then I'm gonna get up and try to see if I can find more rocks.
Stupid rocks.
Go ahead and give me a perception to go hunting for rocks.
The exciting life of Jedi training.
So cunning. So is it 3 of these?
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, and that's it.
Do you have any in perception?
Nope.
Okay. Then yep. And then you need the medium, easy,
It'll be easy.
easy. One
it?
purple.
You're looking for rocks in the wild.
Yeah.
Access to advantage. You find like a really nice rock. Like whatever your idea of a really good rock is, whether it's like the texture, the size, it's just like this is a damn near perfect rock. This is exactly
It's
the kind of
good
rock I'm
shine,
looking for. Good shine.
roundness. You can feel it and be like,
It's a high quality rock.
fancy.
That's some quality H2O.
Pure vanilla.
Don't look that up.
Don't. It's not
It's just
like
grapefruit.
gross. It's just
Disturbing.
grapefruit.
It's grapefruit.
And unless you guys do anything else, Dagunji doesn't come out of that room by the time nightfall hits.
I think at this point I'm just like standing up and like pacing and like kicking the floor.
You keep getting more and more frustrated. I'm just like,
Yeah.
"Ugh."
Can I try to move the nice rock?
Yeah. Go ahead and try your force power to move it.
Dang. Stop being frustrated.
Listen.
You feel very in touch with your surroundings right now, and your surroundings are him, and he is frustrated. And you are... It's like you're trying to sing a song while another song plays really loudly next to you that has a completely different beat and pace to it.
It's that meme of the bird, like, on the branch. It's like, hey, how's it? And then a crow, like, steps in. It's like, hey!
It's like, you just cannot... You feel like that, like, in-touch focus you had before, you can't keep right now.
Okay, I'm gonna pick up my rock and go outside and try to do it.
Okay.
Let's see.
Try to get to it.
Dang it! I'm still frustrated.
You're starting to get frustrated and you feel preoccupied. You feel like your worry for him is kind of overtaking your mind. And you have that same sort of, similar to the moment he had, where you're like sitting there and kind of focusing, and then you're like, and when you kind of like huff and do your final huff, it kind of, the rock kind of tips, it like flips over suddenly and scatters across and kind of skirts along into the ice a little ways.
Oh, I'm gonna go pick it up and be very gentle.
Okay. So you go back in there and he's pacing around and frustrated. And as nightfall kind of starts to come, Master Dagunji, the doorway reopens. He walks out. It closes behind him again. And he kind of walks in looking at you all and smiles a big tusky smile and says...
Good news, everyone.
Good news, everyone. He said, I suggest you all get a good night's rest. We have a busy day ahead of us tomorrow. And then he turns and just walks towards his cave.
Is there any dinner?
He kind of pauses and... Was the fish not enough for you today?
I don't know, was it? Am I hungry?
You're a little hungry. It's like eating just lunch for a day.
I could use some more food, if there is any.
And he,
I made a hole up there. If you want to come help me fish.
I guess that's another thing. Do you have like a jacket or any kind of like cold weather gear? Some of us don't have thick hides.
he kind of looks over at the other Yeti in the cave, and he'll be like, just a moment. And he goes into his cave. And after a little bit of time, he comes out, and he has what appears to be similarly, like kind of similar to the robes you saw your original friend in, the Zadra, I believe. Let me make sure.
Yes,
I've said the right name here.
Zodric.
Zodric, or
It might be
Zadra. Zadra Kledra. His name is Zadra. He's a Zabrak.
Oh.
Zabrak is the species. Xadra Zadra is the name.
So I had Zodric.
Oh, he's the wait.
He's the guy who kind of like he's the guy who's helped save you,
Space
who
Yeah,
brought you
he's
here.
the horn man.
Yeah.
Horn man.
Horn man. Oh. And it looks like a smaller version of that robe, and he. He'll be like, it's a bit worn, but will help keep you warm. And he'll give it to you. And it's functionally a concealing robe.
Yeah.
Something of note with it, it does seem to be damaged.
Yeah.
Like, probably whoever was in it was killed and damaged.
Oh no!
Like
It's like I put on the the shirt and there's like a bullet hole.
Well, that's a little concerning.
You can tell that kind of up. It looks like kind of up near the like hood section. Like the hood itself is still functional, but there's like scorch across the shoulders, like maybe
Oh no!
a laser sword removed the head of a young person who was wearing this previously.
Oh no! That's not good vibes.
It's very bad vibes putting this on.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks. Do you have like a fishing pole?
And he does not. But when he comes out, he also has a small pack of like what is the like rations here. He says it's like put a drop of water on this, and it should give another meal for the.
Hooray! We'll have to make like a fishing pole so you can actually go fishing.
You assume he probably goes out and does what you were trying to do, but is just better with the force, so he can actually like.
I'm gonna go watch him do this. I'm just gonna be like,
study. Yeah, might be a way to do
I'm
it.
gonna try to like mimic him too, because that's how I learn. I like to copy things, because that's how I learned how to do things.
There you go.
But I'm not gonna like actually do it because he's doing a better job. I'm just gonna be
just kind of copy the motions and practice. Practice makes perfect. That's what they say. But after that, he's gonna go to sleep for the night. If you two would like to do the same.
Yeah, I'll eat my rations and go to bed. Not hungry. Always a good thing.
And it's just kind of weird little the second best. If you watch the other Star Wars campaign I'm running right now, the best Star Wars movie, of course, Star Wars Episode 2, from all the references I made there. The second best Star Wars movie, of course, the first of the sequel trilogy, almost as good as the second of the sequel trilogy.
It's a good thing that all the dislikes are now hidden, and we.
That is true. I'm joking around, Star Wars nerds. I am someone who. My opinion of all Star Wars movies ranges from to yeah. So
he really meant to say his favorite Star Wars thing ever is the Christmas special.
I mean, it's up there. Honestly, it's up there
for the wrong reasons. Yeah,
not for how epic it is, but because it's hilarious. Because look it up.
It's
because amazing. Old man Wookiee porn. That's why. Not old man Wookiee. He's an old man Wookiee watch anyway.
Anywho.
Look up Star Wars Christmas Special. It's worth your time.
You're welcome.
Back to this. You guys get a good night's sleep?
I'm mad.
You find it hard to stay asleep. And you constantly, you kind of like frustratedly try and fall asleep. And when you do fall asleep, you tend to have this like recurring dream of you like walking over, opening the door, sitting there, and like meditating. And you sit there meditating and all that. And it's kind of this moment of like, aha, like I'm kind of back in touch again, and then you like lose that concentration and it wakes you up.
This is how I'm sleeping.
I'm just like,
and I'm like drooling on him. I sleep great.
You sleep great. You're warm.
Well, there we go.
You are warm.
But there's a rock next to you. It's the perfect rock.
Yeah, it's a really nice rock.
It's a really nice rock.
It's a really
pretty ideal version of what a rock should be.
Like when you think of the word rock, it's just like...
This is basically what you should picture if you're not picturing it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And unless you guys are doing anything in the night, apart from being frustrated or sleeping, you wake in the next morning.
I feel like my gut's really telling me to like larceny and break into this place, but you know,
it seems like you don't know whether it's a instinct you should trust or not, but there seems to be some primal instinct in you that keeps trying to draw you towards that.
That's not good.
Well, they did tell me to follow my gut. Was there like an insight skill, like for yourself? I'll just roll a force die, and we'll see how my character like is interpreting this feeling. If he's like, the good side of the force is telling me to do this, and the bad side of the force is that one dark side. I'm gonna go and try and open up the.
Okay. Once again, you feel this draw, and you find like, and you kind of. Luckily, there's enough saliva on you that you're able to kind of slip out of the like bear hug that you are in under Flopsy's arms, and you're able to slip over and get to this door. Go ahead and roll me a force die to open it again.
All right. 2 light side.
You finally, you have the resolve now, so you come up, and it's effortless for you to open this door, and it's that same like the paintings of the whippids in the different poses and stuff like that, and you have that kind of central area you can sit and meditate.
Right. Let's give it a shot.
You go there, you sit, you meditate. Go ahead and roll me a fairly important force. A
dark side.
Okay. You kind of sit there and you focus for a moment, and you're like, you kind of feel your conscious reaching out, and all of a sudden you feel that connection, you feel that in touch, you feel that like focus that you felt almost like in your dream. And then you feel it's almost out of body, it's almost like a depersonalization of yourself, almost like looking down upon yourself. Which you'll do more of soon. Look down on yourself. You kind of feel like you're an entity separate of yourself, but that entity that is still you feel like there's a second entity in the same space. And you feel like it's almost like you're watching yourself and this other being somewhere far away, like have this connection. And you kind of sit and focus there, and then you kind of snaps back to you being in your own perception and in your own space. And you feel like you're like opening your eyes from your meditation, but you're not in the same space you were in before. You feel like there's just like darkness all around you. You're still sitting on that stone like dais, little meditating platform, but it like is a drop off on either side around it, and it's darkness all around you as you open your eyes.
Darkness imprisoning me. All that I see. Hello?
Kind of echoes, and you hear like a hello from further off into the darkness, and you can see. You feel like there's like a pillar of white light directly above you, and all of a sudden you see a pillar of red light like illuminate down like a ways across in this darkness from you. And you see kind of like it looks like somebody sitting on the edge of something who kind of like slowly stands and turn like they were looking to a side, and they like turn and look towards you. And you can see at this glance it looks like human or humanoid probably, who was maybe asleep somewhere. It looks like you have your your like Kylo Ren shirtless connection scene. Like he's wearing pants, but he seems to be shirtless. Looks like an adult human. He seems like a fairly battle scarred. From here across, like his head on this side and this arm, we'll talk about in a second. Everything else seems to be kind of just like an adult, in good shape male who's fairly battle scarred. You can see that like this half of his face is entirely cybernetic and has like a kind of weird multi-lensed red eye that glows underneath this red glow, and you can see his right arm is also an entirely cybernetic arm, and he kind of turns and like you can see like as he kind of turns and looks, this eye kind of like twists and adjusts almost like it's zooming and focusing in on you.
I found the antagonist. I'd like to wake up now. This guy's kind of spooky.
Go ahead and roll me a force.
Oh, he might have you. And
nope.
One dark. You're like, I need to wake up. I need to wake up. And this guy kind of like starts stepping towards you, and you can see like there's no pathway between you, but these two pillars of light just like it's almost like he's on a what's the word I'm looking for? A treadmill. Like he's walking in place, and his pillar of light is approaching towards you, and it's kind of getting closer and closer until the lights are nearly about to touch, and you can see almost like in like pretty good detail this individual's very freakish cybernetic face, and you just hear, "What do we have here?" as his eye kind of focuses in, and then you blink, and you're back inside of the room and on the podium.
Sorry.
She's just sitting there going like light side, two light side, light side, light side, two light side. You touch it, 5 dark side. And you like wake up. You feel cold in a way that's unlike all the cold you've been feeling since you've been here.
I thought this would be a good thing.
And yeah.
Neat.
Could have been possibly.
There might have been like a 50-50 chance. I get tube dark side, it's just Darth Vader.
The Emperor shows up.
Like, shit. Okay. I try to just go back to sleep and not sleep at all.
You go back to your bed and have a very hard night's not sleep.
Yeah. I done messed up, Ron.
Who knows what that means? It could be nothing. I wouldn't worry about it.
I have found the antagonist.
I'm like...
You go back and immediately back in the bear hug. The next morning comes. You are still alive. Not super well rested. And you guys awaken, come outside, I assume, from your cave. Master Dagunji is out there. There's no breakfast at the moment. And he seems like he's been just kind of standing out here waiting for you guys. It looks like at the moment he's like not meditating, but standing looking out from this cave over that like big cliff edge that this looks at. And he, not necessarily whether he hears you or senses you or whatever, he kind of turns and smiles as you two walk out from the cave.
He doesn't have like his arms crossed and is like tapping his foot at me. Good.
He doesn't say whatever you've done, he may or may not be aware of. He doesn't seem to be holding you accountable for it, so it's safe to assume he doesn't know you fucked up.
Well, my life has definitely not led me to be open and honest about any of my mistakes, so I'm going to sit on that one.
And he's going to kind of gesture for you guys to come over to the cliff edge again.
There we go.
And he's going to be like, we're going to do some more meditation on the cliff edge here, but we're going to be trying this a little differently. I would like you both to take a seat here in front of me. And kind of looking out over this big cliff edge. Kren kicks you over the edge and you're like, little Sith bastard. Look, it's a Force and Destiny story. It's not a Jedi story.
It's true.
A Force and Destiny story. You take the path that you choose.
Or that I roll.
Or that chooses you. And he says, what I'd like you all to do is to look out over this cliff edge. No eyes closed here. They're not necessary. But I want you to try and feel the world around you. Specifically, I want you to reach out and feel the life around you. On a place such as this, it should be, while it seems like it would be harder to find life, it's actually much easier, oftentimes, for a young Force user in a place like this. Instead of the constant barrage of the Force moving through all this life around you, it's so sparsely located here that it's just little blips for you to feel and sense around. So I want you to sit here and reach out with the Force.
I don't want to sense things. I'm spooked.
Like, the life that I sense is spooky. All right.
Spooky
You want to go
Force.
first or should I?
Yeah,
Right,
I'll go first. Two light side.
Two light side. It's a beautiful experience for you. Everything is sunshine and rainbows. You sit here and you kind of you focus really hard, and you can feel the presence of your compatriot beside you. You can feel the presence of your master behind you. It's almost like, it's similar to what I was describing to him, this kind of out of body experience where it's like a zoom out all of a sudden, and you see yourself sitting, and beside you sits your friend, and behind you with his arms crossed you see Master Dagunji, and then it kind of extends a little further, and you can feel that just up above this cave there's some sort of nest built into a cliff face, and there's eggs of something inside of it, and you can feel a pulse, almost like a heartbeat of something growing inside of those eggs. And you can feel the life from that, and you can feel the life in small plants, most of which are buried underneath the snow and are somehow evolved to survive in that kind of a situation. And then it extends a little further, and you feel a somewhat unfriendly and threatening presence, and you kind of in your mind, that out-of-body kind of experience opens up and looks at the cave, and you just hear a low growl. But there's no threat, it's not jumping out at you, but you can just sense the presence of the creature you had seen before in the cave. And you get this sense from it, it's this very primal, it's a very primal living being, but it's not necessarily this evil, wicked sense. It's not it's nature. Right? It's not good or bad. It's just part of this circle of life on this planet.
You're gonna be
part of this ecosystem.
Hungry, you're gonna eat.
If he's hungry, he's gonna eat, and what this species eats is every living thing that gets in its path. More or less. Go ahead and roll me a Force die. Hey! Two light side. You get a very similar sense of that, especially with the two light side. It's going to be similarly kind of reaching out further, and you are able to kind of focus in, and you sense the life of these eggs, and you sense a strange, powerful, living presence in the nearby cave. You don't get that same growl. You don't get this picture in your mind because you haven't seen it before, but you feel the presence of something kind of proud and regal and powerful and mighty tucked away in this cave, and you sense your friends and you sense your master, and it's all kind of flowing and moving around you, and it's this very cool out-of-body experience to be you feel very in touch with nature, and not in a college girl who's not a Hindu, isn't Hindu but thinks she's Hindu, that has
and just smokes weed for the first time.
Smokes weed for the first time is wow, I'm pretty spiritual.
Nice.
Nice. Not that kind of in touch with the world around you. A very real, connected to the flow of life in this area.
Not going out partying with some boy you like, and maybe doing a little hanky-panky in the woods, kind of spiritual.
The day is young. It'd be very cold for hanky-panky out here, and I don't know if biologically that works. Also, you're both children, so
absolutely not.
Definitely
not. Not that kind of camping.
Not that kind of camping. Not that kind of camping. You kind of come back to your own conscious, kind of back to your own center here, and you feel like you have this moment, and then you just, Master Dagunji, you kind of turn to look, and he has that same big tusky smile, and he's like, I can tell that you both were really in the moment there, that you very much were interweaved and connected. As we've said before, the Force isn't everything, it flows through everything, and you are very powerful conduits for it. You can feel all of this and interact with all of this. I recommend doing this often, and any place you're in, to just feel that life around you. This can be a useful skill both in just knowing your surroundings, as also protecting yourself from them, knowing what's around you and if it's dangerous. And you guys can go ahead and add the sense basic force power as well.
Nice.
Which lets you basically, you can use light or dark side to sense all living things within a certain range, and you can spin that to also get current emotional states of creatures that you're right up next to.
Nice.
So, something to know that you have access to.
No, so I don't have to run into any more spooky horses.
What's the range?
So, to start with, as the basic power, it's going to be short range for sensing living beings, and the engaged range to you have to be next to someone to get their emotional state.
Gotcha.
But similarly, these are all skill trees like your career skill trees. You can spend XP to become better at these skills.
Gotcha.
And then kind of quick out of game thing, you're throughout your training, you're going to get a couple of force powers that you guys are just going to have basic. If you want to improve at them, you have to spend your experience to improve at them, and that's going to kind of be showing of you spending your time practicing.
Right.
Oh.
Sounds cool.
And then Master Dagunji says, I think it's time now for another test.
Uh-oh.
Follow me. He smiles and starts walking back towards the stairs out of the cave. And you immediately get a little unsettled as he takes... It's almost as if he's following your footsteps towards the strange cliff edge that goes up near that cave.
Bad times.
And he seems to fairly... I guess I should probably roll for it, although he is very good at this, so I don't necessarily need to. It is hard, though. Yeah. He makes it... He, swings up and makes it look easy grabbing to these. And he kind of stops partway up to, kind of gesture for you guys to move up behind him.
Yeah, I guess I'll do the same thing. How I got my butt up there anyway.
Oh, sorry, I didn't.
Well, 3 successes, 3 threats, and 1 triumph.
You are still very good at maneuvering your way up this. Even better than before, because you kind of know the right holds to go off of from having done it twice now. Mm-hmm. The threat is the immense threat you feel going back near this cave.
Yes, I would rather not ever again.
All right, here we go. Nope. 2 failures, 2 threats.
Let's see here. Okay. You kind of jump, clamber one, jump towards the other, and it just slips out from under you. And right as you start tumbling back, a hand grabs by your shirt, and the Gunji kind of catches you before you fall, and he's going to try and toss you up the other. A success, 4 advantages, and a triumph. He just lobs you right up over to the... And you land fairly gracefully in the sense, it doesn't hurt too bad. It's not injuring you or anything. Just a scary moment where you almost fell, and it wouldn't have been a terrible fall, just not a very fun one.
Yeah.
And then he kind of swings up the rest of the way and lands up there.
I'm going to hide behind him.
And Master Dagunji will turn towards you and be like... I can sense your trepidation. Why are you so worried?
I know what's in there.
I'm sure both of you felt the presence inside of that cave.
I've seen what's in there.
And he gets that big tusky smile again, and he says, well, then you know that it is a proud and powerful creature.
Seemed pretty neat to me.
He will eat you.
I'd like both of you to enter the cave.
No.
Oh, come on, Flopsy.
and I'm like stiff as a board.
Master Genji's like, I'll be right here. Remember, there are very few creatures in this world that are truly evil or good. And they are all a part of the Force. The Force flows through us all.
I'm trying.
A connection can be made, and a resolution can be found. You must just allow a connection, and you must sense what is going on in the mind of this creature.
I'm going right up.
Okay?
I didn't get any sort of.
You have no idea what's going on up here.
I was like,
I'm gonna follow behind him and just very carefully, he gonna eat me. He gonna eat me. I know this. I saw it. Yeah, I'm like behind you shaking.
Oh.
I'm scared. I'm terrified of this thing.
So the big burly one shaking in the behind you as you kind of slowly walk up, and as you get near the mouth of this cave, you can hear some kind of movement and rustling inside. And you, since you're the person at the front, you'll get to kind of do this first. You kind of feel, again, you still have that kind of connection to the world around you, and you feel a presence approaching towards you. You feel a life approaching towards you. And I'd like you to roll me a force die.
All right. 2 light side.
You cresting through the edge of the shadows again, you see what I described to her previously, this massive and fairly horrifying creature kind of stepping in, and it seems to kind of be like puffing up fairly proudly, but it seems to kind of walk up right to the edge and stand there, and then like it locks eyes with you. And you can see now, again, similar to kind of what you saw it kind of recessed in where these like eyes are like reflective, and in the light they're canine, but they're like this bright yellow color, and they're very piercing and locked onto you. And you feel a bit of a connection to this creature, and it doesn't seem to be hostile towards you at the moment. Flopsy, I'd like you to roll me a force die as well.
He's got special eyes like me.
And like, so this animal is very focused on you, and there's this moment of like a real connection here. You're like, this creature, like, I understand it, like this thing's not hungry right now, this thing doesn't feel threatened by me. And then Flopsy kind of peers out from behind you, and then this thing kind of bears down very suddenly. And I'd like you guys to both roll me cool checks.
Okay. So cool is determined by presence. So 2 of these, and it's a medium. What's the?
It's just rolling. This, I mean, no need to bury the lead here. This is rolling initiative.
Oh, I see. Nice. 1 success, 2 advantage.
3 of those?
And you've got
what?
presence.
Oh,
so
because
you
it
can just
has
hit
nothing
roll.
rolled. So
Okay.
upgrades to 1.
Oh no, you rolled nothing on the first one.
Oh, I didn't know that was...
they can be.
It's a
blank.
possibility.
Oh, okay.
So what was yours?
So mine was 1 success, 2 advantage.
Okay.
And then Jocelyn's was blank.
Mine was
Unfortunately.
nothing.
Sorry, I didn't.
I didn't realize...
I could've let
I
you
thought
get
it
away
messed
with
up.
it.
I thought it like glitched out. I was like, huh?
With 2 successes and a triumph, this creature will be acting first. And because of your previous roll, it's not going to immediately like make an attack, but it leaps from this cave, kind of stomping into the snow, like wrapping around you to get to where it's right in front of you, and it bares its teeth down and like tries to loom over the top of you. And that's going to be its turn, and you get to go after that.
Okay. I'm going to try and do a charm check, maybe? Like, I'm going to try to, like, because of my connection with this, I'm going to try to be, like, what would be non-threatening, you know, or something that would be like, hey, like...
I'd say you can use
don't worry about
charm.
it.
Yeah,
Charm.
I'd say you can make a charm.
Okay.
Roll a charm check. It'll be, for you, an average charm check, but have a force die in there with it as well. And just tell me what the result of that is, too.
Do
I
get to use my special eyes?
What is that?
Sorry, I think I just get it anyways. A boost to charm, deception, and negotiation.
Yeah.
As my goal.
Yeah, you can use that here.
So, and then medium with a force die. Okay, well, 1 success, 4 advantage, but 2 dark side.
You try and kind of really, like, exert your presence for this thing to understand that, like, we mean you no harm. And it seems to, like, the connection you feel doesn't really break. You feel like this thing, the mindset that this thing is in right now is like, you are not a threat. You are kind of a friend, actually, and this thing is a threat. And with the two dark side that come along with this, you feel like this thing is now is no longer in the like, I need to scare this thing out of my territory. Its mindset kind of shifts to like, this thing is threatening my new friend and me, and I need to take care of that.
No.
And then it's going to be Flopsy's turn.
Okay, Flopsy, what do you?
So you feel a connection with this thing through the Force, but that connection is like fury and bearing down on you. It's very scary.
I'm just gonna hand him the rock.
Okay.
You can just raise up a rock for him?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't.
We'll call that a charm.
Okay, so it'll be your two presents.
And go ahead and roll a force die in with that as well.
Is it going to be average or hard?
For you, hard.
There you go.
Because this thing's set against you already.
Okay, there's 2 failures, a threat, and a dark side.
Okay.
For the audience at home.
You raise this up, and you're like, looking away, and this thing is going to snap down at you with its big jaws.
Okay, I'm just gonna crawl on the floor.
No,
Well, it's going to snap down first.
Oh, okay.
Turn-based. It's now its turn.
So, luckily for you, once again, it's almost as if you have these your like ability to dodge these very hard to dodge attacks proves that you have the Force. You have this big rock. This is a failure and 5 advantages.
Wow.
You have this rock in your gun, and you kind of look up, and at the last second, you pull your hands away as this thing snaps down at you, and you tumble backwards and fall flat onto your back, but don't get injured by it this turn. And then this thing kind of like twists its body around where it's almost like interposing between the two of you, and it kind of bears down and starts keeping on, like advancing towards Flopsy while you're on your back. This thing's like more or less like crawling towards, almost bearing over the top of you now, baring its teeth. And then it'll be you.
I'll try to like interpose myself and do another charm to be like, it's all good.
Friends. Yeah. I'll let you keep your previous charm. Just roll me a force die.
All right.
See if there's a lot of dark energy. There's a lot of dark energy going on.
Shit going on. Yeah.
You seem to like your original connection has remained, but there's just this air of chaotic, angry force around you. What would Flopsy like to do?
I'm gonna try to connect with it.
Okay.
With the Force.
It'll just be another force die.
Oh,
One light side. Okay. So this thing's bearing down very angrily, and then you kind of like trying to reach out again with the Force and try and make a connection.
And I'm like sweating.
And there's this kind of connection made, and you feel this thing, its defenses go down a little bit. Like you feel like the connection is made. There's some lowering of its aggressiveness, but it still seems like there's so much chaotic Force energy around it that it doesn't seem like it's fully worked. It seems like you've made a connection with it, but it's not stopped being angry and defensive and aggressive towards you.
Okay.
And you hear it kind of snarl again, and it's going to it kind of starts to lunge forward to snap at you. But as it does, you hear the snap of its teeth, and and look, and it's snapping like it's just out of reach of you, and you can see it's almost, its feet look like they're slightly off the ground, and as it's kind of snapping its teeth at you, it's being held back and floating in the air. And you can both turn to see Master Dagunji across the lake with a hand up in the air, keeping this thing from snapping at you. And he just says, "Don't lose focus. Stay connected with it." And it's going to snap in the air at you, but not be able to reach you, and then it'll go back to you.
Okay. Another force step.
Mm-hmm. Next thing. Okay. It continues.
Why must I be evil?
You're sitting there and you're like, no, don't hurt my friend, don't hurt my friend. Do it. I mean, no. You feel like it's that same, you feel that same frustration where you feel like you're unwittingly feeding into the chaos of the situation.
Fair enough.
I guess I'll roll a force die to help. Ah!
Also dark.
It seems like chaos has more or less saturated this situation, and Master Dagunji says, "Come back across the lake. We can try this again a later time." And he just stays there focusing, maintaining the photos.
My new friend, the wolf monster.
And you two kind of run back across, and you'll be able to. He kind of like has a moment. He like lowers it down, and you see him kind of focus and lock eyes with this thing for a second, and it kind of continues to bare its teeth, but it turns and walks into its cave.
Yeah. Darn it. That did not help your phobia of wolf monsters. That is for sure.
I'm gonna like put my head down and I'm gonna like whimper and be sad.
Master Dagunji will be like, "I understand it's a very scary thing to face a creature such as that, but with the lives you have chosen, whether it's been fully your choice or not, there's going to be many threats that lay before you, and many challenges that you won't be able to run from. And there's a good chance I won't always be there to help in those situations. But it is important to always try and remember that these living things are one with the Force, just as you are, and that a connection and a peaceful resolution is always the ideal answer in any situation."
But what about, like, stab?
You think.
Yeah.
And Master Dagunji will kind of turn and look to you.
Uh-oh.
He's going to be like, "I sense an eagerness in you.
Uh-oh.
Don't you worry. We have more lessons today to come.
Hooray.
Come with me. Let's go have lunch."
Sure, there's the power of friendship, but what about the power of incredible violence?
What about the power of laser sword? And you two, you guys will, between the group of you, I will make you roll again with their help. Unless you want to try and do it yourself, just to prove that you can.
Myself.
Okay, roll it. Just to prove that you can.
I cannot.
At this point,
one success but one threat.
so sometimes you gotta like slowly go to the like slip catch yourself moment, slip catch yourself, and you make it down. Kind of you're doing the like scoot down on your butt to make sure that you're not gonna hurt yourself, but you're able to do it without either of their help.
Beat the odds on that one.
That's right. That's not an easy roll for you. So good work. And as you guys start walking back towards the cave, Master Dagunji will stop over at the hole that you made that's like slowly starting to kind of seal back up. And you see him kind of look down, and he kind of closes his eyes for a second, reaches and kind of like does a hand motion, and the fish kind of shoots up out of the water, and he catches it, and he just starts walking towards the cave with it.
Taking notes.
I'm just... Oh.
Yeah, fishing's a lot less sporting when you have the Force. Which I guess a lot of things are a lot less sporting.
It turns out you're just kind of a superhero when you have the Force, and it's kind of bogus. So
kind of bogus, dude.
And you guys can head back in, and it'll be similar. Like you'll kind of grill this fish up. You might get sick of fish before this training time is done, but spend some time cooking it up, eating. And he continues to... He doesn't lecture you very long or anything like that, but he just kind of reiterates how important it is to, like, focus on making connections before confrontations and stuff like that. And there's always a peaceful resolution and stuff along those lines.
Anyway, here's how you use a laser sword.
Anyway, and then as you guys are kind of finishing up, he says that he'll be right back, and he starts heading towards his cave.
Eat a burrito. Stretch. I'm gonna try to do another sense and see if I can like sense my wolf friend.
Okay, go ahead and roll me force die.
2 light side.
2 light side. You've sensed the wolf friend over in the cave. You feel like that connection hasn't left you from your original connection with him, and you sense that a kind of a peace. You sense that like the wolf friend is in the cave and feels no longer threatened and is just kind of happily relaxing in its cave now.
Fair enough. He's like, I'm full. I'm a animal, so all I gotta worry about is that I'm full and I'm warm and I'm in my cave and it's all good.
There was a threat. I took care of it. They're gone now.
Yep.
We're fine. Everything's good.
Nice. I'm definitely gonna be like feeding that thing like fish and shit. And, like,
this is going to be your path.
The only time that you gotta follow the dice, man. Like,
you do.
Especially a very like
the Force is very
campaign.
narrative, all right. And what it's telling you is you need to be a Sith Lord who's got a soft spot for animals.
Rad.
And you kind of have a moment where you kind of reach out and have this sense, and then walking back into the room, Master Dagunji comes and he has like 2 leather wraps in his hand that are fairly long, and he sets them down next to the fire and he says, while I hope to someday be able to help you both craft your own lightsabers, or at the very least Zadra should, as he's more expert at that than myself when he returns. It is still important that we train and prepare you for their use. These are not a great example of what a lightsaber is, for one very important lesson that I will teach you in a moment. But they're good for practice at the very least. And he kind of unfolds these 2 leather wraps, and inside you can see swords, like what looks like fairly ancient swords. And you're not exactly like historically, you're almost certainly not historically knowledgeable, but I mean, either of you can roll me just like we'll call it like it'll probably be a hard intellect. Yeah. If you've got like a...
Maybe like a lore?
Lore, yeah,
Let
lore
me try,
would be perfect.
Let me try.
Okay,
yeah.
So we've got
It's
intellect is a 1, and then a hard.
Okay, let's see if I...
Set those up because this is going to be noisy.
Right. Oh, right, of course.
So,
Sorry if there's bad background
2
noise for a while. 2 threats. That a sword. It sharp.
yes.
Sharp swords.
Sharp, short, Irish wristwatch.
Alright, I have 2
Worcestershire?
intellect. 3 threat.
Don't really know what the history behind Jedi and swords are, but these seem like weird old swords.
Weird old swords. Sounds rad.
Rad.
Functionally, statistically, these are like ancient Jedi swords, which is a thing. And they will use the lightsaber skill to wield them.
Oh.
But they are obviously not lightsabers. And statistically, just so you guys can mark it down if you'd like to. Wait. Where did it go? There we go. Ancient sword. So, it's going to be lightsaber skill to use it. It is +2 damage. It is a crit of 3, range engaged, obviously. Has 1 hard point, and has the defensive 1 characteristic. And defensive 1... Make sure... defensive... Character wielding a weapon's defense squad increases melee defense by the weapon's defense rating. So you have 1 melee defense while you're wielding one of these.
Turns out, it's hard to attack you with a melee weapon when you have a sword.
When you have a sword. There's a sword in between. You want to hit me with that sword? You're going to have to get through my sword to do it.
Exactly. You said it was damage of 2?
+2.
Oh, +2.
So with like a melee weapon, it's going to be your brawn +2.
I see.
Plus the number of successes.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Did it say it's a crit modifier?
2, 3? What was it? 3.
Yeah. And then hard points, it's not 1 hard point. Okay. And then ENC. I don't know.
That's encumbrance, which we're
encumbrance,
not messing around with really.
Unless I'm trying to carry around like a Gatling gun. It's not
exactly.
Really
We're not going to use that so much, but if you're trying to like freehand an E-web turret, we'll start asking questions. Which is possible to do in the system.
How many stim packs do you have in there?
Enough?
Some.
What are you, a cop?
Classic.
And
how did you fit that in there? It's bigger on the inside.
And Master Dagunji will have each of you take one of the swords. One is slightly bigger than the other. Even the smaller one feels a little big and cumbersome in your hand, and it feels a little small and weird to maneuver in yours, but it's functional for both of you. And he kind of reaches and pulls out what looks like a strange handle. and clicks a button, and a green beam of energy comes out of it, and he kind of assumes a form, and he has each of you guys like line up next to him, and he starts walking you guys through basic lightsaber form, and it's kind of, and that's going to be more or less the rest of this day, and it's lots of repetition. He'll give you like a moment to kind of stop, get a drink of water, or whatever, but it's lots of like the exact same form that he's having you do over and over again. And eventually he's putting his lightsaber away and he's watching and critiquing and adjusting as you guys each do this. And I'll have you guys each just go ahead and roll me a lightsaber skill check.
Okay.
Neither of you, I assume, have any lightsaber ranks. So, and no, you don't have anything to help you yet with this. So it'll be literally just your brawn.
Yep. Okay.
Nice.
And we'll make it just average.
2, 3.
Just to see how well you take to this training.
So Jocelyn's
Yes!
5 success.
5 success.
Yes!
It's like look at this roll. Like, oh my god.
Damn. And you
So-
go ahead and roll me your
yours
as well.
I get
Just go ahead and remove 2 of those screens, right?
Yeah, exactly.
2 failures. Similar to the rocks.
Yeah.
It's this very like you very naturally like you start getting this down and your swings are
every day
powerful. Your swings are powerful. You're like mastering this form pretty quickly. Like you feel like each progression is very natural, and you find yourself this thing is heavy. Each time you're like adjusting to like a different stance in this like progression of form, you're finding yourself like losing your balance. It's straining. It's hard. It's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel very right. It feels like you feel like you could be better at this, but it doesn't seem to be like you're not using your strengths here. You feel like you need to find a better way to do this, maybe. There might be another form or something for you. And that's going to be a decent bit of the rest of that day. And that is also, as you guys continue your training along here, the night draws near, and Master Dagunji will let you guys stop. And this is like a good like half of a day of a very basic form progression that he has you do over and over and over and over. And with that repetition, that'll be the end of this episode of the Force and Destiny campaign.
Yeah.
Good work,
Fun
guys.
times. We saw a cool dog. It was pretty
It was
cool.
a really cool dog.
It was a pretty cool dog.
Everyone liked it. Everyone had a good time. It was so much fun.
I made a new friend, the antagonist.
And
Naughty.
you made 2 new friends.
It's true.
And you've continued to just be better at this whole Jedi thing then.
Why am I such a bad Jedi?
It's just because you're not... It's not that you're a bad Jedi. It's just that you're a really good Sith.
I would have been like, man, I found these 2 like shorter red lightsabers, and they work really good.
Awesome. Watch me do this backflip.
Just cut Dagunji's head off
Accidentally
by
cut
accident.
Dagunji's head off. Oh, shit. Thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you in the next one.